There is something most men spend their entire lives chasing without ever knowing what they were really looking for. They think it is attraction. They think it is chemistry. They think it is the right words at the right moment. But what they are actually searching for is something far more primal than any of that. It lives in the body before it lives in the mind. Most men walk right past it every single day. There is one specific moment, quiet, almost invisible, when a woman's nervous system decides she is safe with you. Not impressed, not entertained, safe. And if you have never been taught to recognize that moment, you will spend years wondering why real connection always feels just slightly out of reach. My name is Dr. Amelia Brooks. I have spent over 20 years working with couples and emotionally disconnected men across the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia. I have sat across from men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, accomplished, genuinely kind men who all described the same quiet ache. The feeling that something important was always happening just beneath the surface of their relationships, and no one had ever handed them a map. I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You did not fail. You were simply never taught how the deeper language of connection actually works. Nobody explained the difference between surface-level attraction and the kind of trust that turns a moment into a memory. Today, I am going to show you exactly what that looks like, how to recognize it, how to earn it, and what it means when it is already happening around you. Here is the science, kept simple. When a woman feels genuinely safe with someone, her body releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. But oxytocin is not triggered by impressive words or grand gestures. It is triggered by the absence of threat, by stillness, by consistent, unhurried presence. Her nervous system is always quietly scanning. What it is scanning for is not strength. It is safety. That is where everything begins. Most men never realize this. Attraction is not the first chapter. Safety is. The first thing I want you to understand is what I call the architecture of stillness. There is a quality certain men carry into a room without saying a word. Not loud confidence, something older, a groundedness, an unhurried quality in the way they hold their body, the way they breathe, the way they do not need anything from the room to feel complete. Women feel this before they consciously identify it. It registers first in the chest, then in the shoulders. A subtle relaxation that happens without permission. This works because the nervous system responds to co-regulation. When your body is calm, it sends a biological signal to the bodies around you. Her stress response lowers. Her guard, without any decision on her part, begins to ease. The man who carries stillness is not emotionally absent. He is emotionally anchored. That is a rare and extraordinary thing. David, 53, Portland, Oregon. 21 years of marriage that had slowly gone from warm to polite. He came to me convinced the problem was that he had stopped being interesting. He had started performing, filling every silence, planning elaborate evenings, trying harder. What shifted was a single instruction: stop filling the silence. Let it exist. 3 weeks later, his wife reached across the couch and rested her hand on his arm. She hadn't done that in 4 years. "I forgot how peaceful it feels to just be near you," she said. That sentence undid something he had been carrying for a decade. Here is what I want you to do. Tonight, in whatever shared space you occupy, let there be 1 full minute of silence without reaching to fill it. No phone, no commentary. Simply breathe and be present. Notice what changes in the room. This is where it gets interesting. Stillness is not passive. It is one of the most powerful active choices a man can make. The second thing is what I call the language the hands don't speak. Touch, in its most emotionally significant form, is never about intensity. It is about intention. A hand rested gently at the small of the back, guiding without directing. A brief, warm pressure on the shoulder that says, "I see you," without requiring a response. These small gestures carry enormous emotional weight because they communicate presence without demand. This works because non-demanding touch activates the rest and connect response. It says to her body, this person is not here to take something. He is simply here. Marcus, 47, Toronto. In a relationship he described as functional but frozen. I told him to place a hand on her shoulder for 3 seconds when she passed through the same room. No words, no expectation, just warm, steady presence. 2 weeks later, she turned and leaned into his hand, held it there herself. He sent me a message that simply said, something just thawed. Here is what I want you to do. Choose one moment today where you offer physical presence without any words or expectation. Let the gesture carry the entire weight of the message. And this connects back to something deeper, because we are slowly circling what I promised you at the beginning. The third is the door that vulnerability keeps locked. True emotional vulnerability in men is widely misunderstood. It is not weakness displayed. It is not a confessional monologue. It is the quiet willingness to say, calmly, without drama, that mattered to me. The courage to let someone see that you are affected by your life. This works because reciprocal vulnerability is the mechanism of deep trust. When you allow yourself to be seen, you give her nervous system permission to do the same. Connection deepens through witnessed humanity. Robert, 61, Edinburgh, Scotland. His wife of 30 years told him she felt alone even when sitting next to him. One quiet evening, he told her he was afraid of the years running out before they really knew each other. He said it without a plan. She cried. It was the first real conversation we had in maybe 15 years, he told me. One undefended sentence rebuilt more trust than years of being dependable. Here is what I want you to do. Identify one thing this week that genuinely affected you. Share it in a single, unhurried sentence. Not a performance, just the truth, offered simply. The fourth is the quality of sustained attention. Against a world designed to fragment attention, a man who offers his full, undivided presence is increasingly rare and increasingly powerful. Not staring, not performing attentiveness, simply being fully there, phone face down, eyes that meet and hold. The quality of listening that makes someone feel like the only person in the room. This works because being truly seen is one of the deepest human needs. When she feels your attention is completely hers, her nervous system interprets that as profound care. Thomas, 58, Melbourne, Australia. His wife told him she always felt like she was competing with everything else for his presence. He was not unkind. He was simply always partially somewhere else. The change, one 20-minute conversation per evening, phone in another room, nothing to accomplish. She told him 3 weeks later, quietly, almost to herself, I forgot what it felt like to have someone actually there. Here is what I want you to do. Choose one conversation today where you are entirely present. No device within reach, no mental list running. Just this person, this moment. Notice what it does to the quality of what she says. But here is what changes everything. And this is exactly where it connects back to what we started with. The fifth is what I call the specific permission of the body. There are places on the human body that are never accidentally touched. The back of the hand, offered palm up, is not a neutral gesture. The shoulder blades, where the body holds its oldest tension, no one reaches there without having earned the right. The forearm, turned softly toward another person, signals quiet openness. These are the places the body guards without thinking. And when a woman allows contact there, steady, unhurried contact, her nervous system has made the decision for her. This is the specific part the title has been quietly pointing toward. Not a location on the body in the way you may have first imagined. It is any place she normally guards, any place she has learned, through years of living, to protect. When she lets you touch it, really lets you, without stiffening, without pulling away, she is not making a casual decision. The deepest part of her brain has decided, This person is safe. James, 49, Chicago. 7 years into a second marriage he loved but feared losing. One evening after an unresolved argument, he reached out, not to make a point, not to apologize strategically, but simply because she looked tired. He placed his hand, open and unhurried, at the center of her back. She did not move away. She leaned slightly into his hand. Then she turned and put her head against his shoulder. He had not performed anything. He had not said the perfect words. He had simply become still enough, safe enough, that her body chose to rest in the place he offered. And in that moment, all the distance between them, every argument, every silence, every night lying inches apart and miles away, dissolved. Not because anything was fixed, but because two nervous systems remembered why they had chosen each other. That was not manipulation. That was not a performance. That was simply two people returning to the original language of safety. Maybe she was more connected than you realized. Maybe your stillness mattered more than your words. Maybe the bridge was always shorter than it looked. Lasting connection is not built in extraordinary moments. It is built in the accumulated weight of small, consistent, genuine gestures. The hand offered without agenda. The silence held with patience. The attention that does not divide. These are not romantic theories. They are the actual architecture of trust. And trust, real trust, is the only thing that allows another person to lower every wall they have spent a lifetime building. Research from UCLA has consistently shown that emotional responsiveness, genuinely attuning to another person's emotional state, is the single strongest predictor of long-term relationship satisfaction. Not compatibility, not shared interests. The feeling of being truly met. You have been that person for someone. You may not have known how to show it, but the capacity was always there. So here is what I want to leave you with tonight. Find one small moment, not a conversation, not a plan. One moment, a hand placed somewhere that communicates presence without pressure. A silence you allow to breathe. Simply looking up and letting your eyes say, I am here. I am not going anywhere. Let it be real. Not performed, not strategic, just true. If something in this reached you, if something clarified or softened or reminded you of something you had almost forgotten, I would love to hear it in the comments. What did this bring up for you? Next time, I want to talk about the one emotional signal most men completely misread, and why getting it right changes everything about how she responds to you. Take care of each other. I mean that. Dr. Amelia Brooks.